Hey everyone. So today we're going to go back over a bit of the Sun A that we started with last Wednesday. So basic warm-up yoga flow that we would go through. We're going to add in a little bit of the Sun B as well as a little bit of side plank work today. And my plan is to slowly build on every progression as we go through and hit some of the stuff that we would probably need to be hitting anyway from the perspective of spending a lot of time typing. We got tight hips. We're tight in general when we're dealing with working from home or even some of these home workouts. We're doing a lot of push ups during these cycles. So we got tight chests. So we're going to hit a Sun A. We're going to go through a Sun B and add a little bit of side plank work in just to kind of mix it up a little bit and progress from there. So I'm going to get some music situated as I pull my hair back. And I want you to find a comfortable seat. If you have your yoga blocks or your books nearby, you can elevate your hips and just comfortable seat. Allow your eyes to close. Taking those nice big full breaths in. Inhaling, filling the chest, filling the belly. On your exhale, feel your shoulders relax down, your hips sink down, hands relax onto your thighs or on the ground, whatever's more comfortable. Palms down or palms up, whatever's, again, more comfortable for you. Palms down is a little bit more conservative energy-wise. Palms up is a little bit more receiving energy-wise. If you're going with that more traditional view of yoga. We're hitting midweek, so this is our hump day. I want you to set an intention for your practice if that's something that you want. That intention could be, I'm going to ask for you something that you're trying to cultivate within your life. I tend to always go towards patience because I know I need to be a little bit more patient with myself as much as other people, more so with myself than others. So with that in mind, what I'm going to offer as an intention, which you don't have to use, you can use whatever feels better for you. I'm going to offer treating yourself as you would treat a friend. We tend to often be one of our harshest judges. We constantly see ourselves in the mirror and pick ourselves apart. We have these anxious thoughts. It's typical for a lot of people to go through that. So treat your thoughts, treat yourself like you would a friend going through that. You would give your friend grace, so give yourself grace. If that's not in line with what works for your practice, it could be, okay, I'm looking to learn something new. Hopefully I teach you something new today, or a different way to tweak a posture to make it either a little bit more balanced or a little bit more challenging depending on what you need. A few more breaths here, just feeling yourself really grounding into the mat, into your carpet. I have a lovely view behind all of you of the trees behind our house. It's very soothing for me. When you're ready to move, we're going to come into tabletop. We're just going to start getting going right away. So tabletop, think of knees underneath your hip socket. So like right where your hips line up, not hips width apart. We tend to take our hips, so our knees or feet a little wider when we say hip width apart. Hip sockets, wrists under elbows, under shoulders. And you're going to move through cat and cow, allowing your belly to drop down as your gaze comes up, then pressing away from the ground, curling that spine in like an angry cat. Moving with your breath here. Inhaling, dropping that belly, gaze coming up, tailbone points up. Exhaling, pressing through the mat, curling that spine in, maybe coming up onto your fingertips to deepen the posture. And moving with breath here. Give yourself 5 to 8 cat-cows just to really feel your spine loosen up. Now, if you're someone who's prone to hyperextension in your elbows, if you have a background in dance, or maybe you do a lot of yoga, or you're just double jointed, a way to kind of help protect your elbows is rather than lining up your index finger with the edge of your mat, think about lining up your forefinger with the edges of your mat. So you're running parallel. And it just helps to kind of like go from this position where you're a little more turned out to just slightly a little more turned in. Subtle difference, but if you experience a lot of elbow pain, a way to kind of tweak the posture to make it work a little better for you. Now from this cat and cow, start throwing in maybe some hip circles, dropping the hips down to one side, scooping up, pushing back, making big sweeping circles with the hips, or maybe small motions with the shoulders, even throwing in some of those wrist rotations, making circles here. Any way that's going to help loosen up your wrists, your shoulders, your hips. When you're ready to move, hands are going to plant. We're going to curl those toes under. Hips are going to lift. Hips are going to press back. And I'm going to tie my shirt so it doesn't keep coming up over my head. We're moving it to down dog here. So you're going to press through the base of your knuckles to push your chest back towards your thighs. Knees can stay bent. If you have really tight hamstrings, this might be your position here. That is fine. I'd rather you think about pushing through the base of your knuckles to push your chest back towards your thighs rather than trying to really push down and ending up in this almost rounded back position. We want to keep the back as flat as you can. And as your hamstrings loosen, you can press those heels down towards the mat, coming into that nice, really inverted V position. 3 more breaths here. Think about pressing your chest back, pushing your heels down, lifting your hips. We're going to come into that high plank position, rolling forward, keeping those hips squeezed tight, shoulders pulled back, lower down knees, chest and chin. Look a little like an inchworm here before pulling through for your baby cobra. So with your baby cobra, you're not planting through your hands and pushing your chest back. We're lightly just peeling your chest off of the mat. Shoulders are pulling down to back. Very little weight in your hands. I'm making like little fingertippy tap dances here. Gazes forward or slightly down. We're going to lower all the way back down to the mat. Push back into your tabletop. Toes curl under. Hips lift. Down dog. Your gaze is, you're going to look between your hands and step your feet towards your hands. Coming into a nice deep forward fold here. So if you have tight hamstrings, being in this position may take a little bit longer to warm up. Bend your knees just like you did in down dog. You can grab onto opposite elbows. I like to do the Macarena arms. Anybody remembers the Macarena? Head is heavy. You're just going to shake back and forth. And inhale, halfway lift. Gaze is about 6 inches in front of your mat. For me, I'm just trying to keep my neck straight. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, meaning your head comes up last. You're pressing through your feet here, walking your arms and hands up, head comes up. Big full body stretch up overhead. Hands here to heart center. Back up a little bit more into that nice strong mountain pose. Move hypervolt out of the way. So that strong mountain pose, you are pressing through your feet. The whole of your foot is pressing down. I can feel the ball, my heels, the outside portion of my foot, they're making contact. I'm doing little toe scrunchies in the mat right now. Just lifting my toes up and then kind of scrunching them along the carpet. We're not letting our butt poke out here. We're tucking that pelvis under, bracing that core, pulling that rib cage down. Shoulders relax, gazes forward. We're going to go through the sun salutation A, 2, maybe 3 more times. Depends on which variations I decide to show you today. So on your inhale, we're going to do a big lift up overhead. Big full body stretch. Exhale, hands are going to come through your midline. Fold forward. Hands can come down to the mat, or again, bend those knees. Get those hands come down. Inhale for your halfway lift. So again, trying to keep my back in a nice neutral plane here. Exhale, fold, bending your knees as much as you need to get your hands down on the ground. Step back to plank. And then we'll either lower down, knees, chest, chin, or for your chaturanga, come here. Push through for your up dog. So four stack pose. With your up dog, you are pressing up, shoulders relax back. My quads are off the mat here. Roll over your toes, press back into down dog. We're going to take 5 breaths here. If you need to, pedal out your feet. Give yourself a couple of wiggles. Whatever feels good here. Gaze is going to come between your fingertips. We're going to make our way into that forward fold so you can step your hands forward or bending those knees, looking forward, jumping forward, landing softly. Nice deep forward fold here. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Head comes up last. Nice big strong mountain. Reach up overhead. Hands through to heart center. Strong mountain. Wiggle it out if you need to. We're going to move a little faster through this next round. When I'm going to show you the difference between you want to step back into plank or shooting your feet back for that chaturanga. So coming into that 4 stacked pose, 4 limb stacked pose. There we go. I think that's what it's supposed to be called. So what we would consider a half push-up position. Arms are bent at that 90-degree angle. You don't want to jump back into plank because it can jostle your back a little bit. Unless you're practicing for burpees, which we got a lot of this coming up. So you're going to inhale. Big reach up overhead, getting tall. Exhale, hand through your midline, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands. Shoot back for your chaturanga. Pull through, up dog. Pressing back into down dog. Few breaths in down dog. Gaze will come between your fingertips. This is kind of where you can play with a little bit of handstand work, sort of. I don't have a great handstand, so I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to try and flip my feet up towards my hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to inhale, head comes up last, root to rise. Big reach up overhead, getting tall. Hands here to heart center. Okay. We're going to add one more variation to this sun A, where instead of folding forward, bring your hands through our midline, we're going to swan dive forward where your chest leads. So, starting through, I'm not going to talk through it as much because it leaves me a little out of breath. Inhale, big reach up overhead. Exhale, hand comes out to the side, chest folds forward. Swan diving forward. Lift. Plant. Chaturanga. Pull through for your up dog. Down dog. Nice. Deep breath here. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale. Sigh it out through your mouth. Let that jaw be loose. Nice, another big inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Gaze is going to come between your fingertips. You can step, jump, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Head will come up last. Big reach up overhead. Hands through. Nice strong mountain. Those are a few variations of Sun A. It is a great way to warm up. I will often play with that when I am warming up myself here. Big full body thing, like I'm already starting to get a little warm. Also probably don't have the AC on right now. We're going to move through a variation of Sun B. So Sun B will move us through chair pose, warrior one, into the flow through, which is that high plank to low plank, or, excuse me, got a hiccup. That four staff pose, we're moving into that chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. We're going to follow that sequence. We'll do one full sequence through, hitting each side. So we're hitting right leg warrior one and left leg warrior one. When we go through the second time, add a little bit of a variation where we're adding in a side plank. So with chair pose, if you need more help with balance today, feet are going to plant underneath your hip sockets. We're not going hips width distance apart. We're not going shoulder width distance apart. Underneath those hip sockets, you want to play with balance. Bring your feet together, big toes touching. From here, we're going to hinge back, keeping that core pulled down and engaged. Hips hinge back. Hands can come to your heart. We're coming into that chair pose, or reach up overhead. Now you're looking at it going, oh, this is not a full squat. This isn't super hard. I promise if you hold even this position, your quads will start to shake. Shoulders pulled down and back. Pinky fingers spin in here. Chest stays somewhat lifted. So I want to be up in this position here where I'm like really awkwardly hyperextending my low back. I also don't want to be collapsing forward. So we're here. We're holding for 2 more breaths. I'm loading weight into my right leg. My left leg is going to go back. Warrior one. Boom. So if you need to readjust, like I tend to always have to readjust in warrior one. I think pulling that right hip back, left hip pushes forward. Strong bend in my front leg. If I look down, I can see my big toe. That means my knee is tracking in a good direction. If I can't see my big toe, give you another angle here. If I cannot see my big toe in this position, you can clearly see my knee is collapsing in. Push your knee out, see your big toe. Get a little bit more activation that way. Still in this warrior one posture. Also think about pressing through that back foot. So you want to press through that outer portion of the ball of your foot. Boom. On your exhale, fold forward. Take that pivot out of your back foot. Step back to that plank. Option to flow through here. Come in here. Cobra. Down dog. Little pit stop. 4 to 5 breaths here, maybe 6 if you want longer. Believe it or not, down dog can be a resting posture. We're going to bring that left foot through between the hands. Back foot's going to spin down. Warrior one. Raising up here. Left hip pulls down and back. Rib cage pulls under. Shoulders pull down my spine. Boom. I'm still pressing through that outer portion of my foot. 2 more breaths. I'm going to load weight into my left leg. I'm going to drag my back leg Forward. Coming into chair. Boom. So we're here, nice and strong. Shoulders pulled down, relax. Just a couple more breaths here. On that exhale, fold forward. Shake it out. My quads were starting to shake a little bit there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. I'm gonna reach or rise. Your head's gonna come up last. Stack one vertebrae on top of each other. Big. Reach up. Hands through heart center. Shake it out. Roll the shoulders out if you need to. We're gonna go through a second variation. We have a little bit of sweet tea. It's gonna be a little funkier. And we're gonna take a little bit of a longer pause between each posture. So, when you're ready, set yourself up for chair pose, either feet together or hips width distance apart. We're keeping that pelvis tucked under, so we don't have this big extra little butt tooch coming out. Pull it under, pull that rib cage down. Hands can stay at your heart or they can reach up overhead. For the sake of being able to talk, I'm gonna keep my hands at my heart, so I'm not blocking more of my voice. Hips are gonna shift back, we're going to chair. Gaze is forward, shoulders are relaxed and pulled down here. Holding for about 5 breaths total here. If you need more time, you take more time. If you want to play a little more, maybe you lower down a little bit. Weight's gonna load into that right leg, my left leg is gonna go back. I always have to readjust. Boom, here. I'm in my nice, strong warrior one. Arms can come up overhead. About 5 breaths here. You can take more time if you need it. You're gonna hear my dog bark in the background. As I fold forward on my exhale, I'm gonna plant my right hand to the outside of my right foot. Right foot is gonna slide back. We're going side plank here. So, a couple of tips with side plank. If you need to play with your balance, drop that bottom knee. So drop your right knee here. Still thinking about stacking your hips. So if you're collapsing in like this, think about pushing that hip forward, squeezing your glutes. Now, if balance is what's throwing you off, but you want a little bit of a challenge strength-wise, you can always float that top leg. Side effect of having dogs. If you have really good balance and want to play with side plank, your feet can stack. Pardon the way my feet look. They can stack in front of each other. Flex your toes towards your face. Hey, chill. By flexing your toes towards your face, you're firming up your midline. So you might be here as well. Now, that's giving you a lot of pressure on your wrist. My tip is I always come to my fist if my wrist is feeling a little gunky. Here. Boom. Nice and strong, getting nice and tall, pressing through. Coming into that high plank. Option to flow through here. Come through. Down dog. We're going to take the sequence backwards so we can hit that left side. And so you can see me better. Willow, please chill out. It's like she's having an argument and has to have the last word. So because I'm going to want to do this on the left side, I'm just going to go through the posture backwards. So I've come into that down dog. I'm going to shift forward into that plank and hit a plank on my left side. Boom. Squeezing my butt, stacking my hips, Getting nice and tall here. Toes are flexed towards my face. Keeping it tight, keeping it strong. Just keep breathing here. You can opt for that knee drop if that helps. You can come to your fist. That helps. Whichever works better. As we pivot through back into that high lunge, we're going to step the left foot forward between the hands. Back heel spins down. We're going to come up. Warrior one. Left hip pushes back. Boom. Two more breaths here. Then I'm going to shift weight into my left leg, drag that back foot up. Chair pose. Hands can come back to the heart, they can stay overhead, whatever's more comfortable for you. Two more breaths. On your next exhale, big full breath in, exhale, fold forward. Shake it out if you need to. You'll inhale for that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, head comes up last. Big full body reach up overhead. Hands through to center. Shake it out if you need to. So you can, like I tend to pop my toes a lot, just because that's what's comfortable for me. So we've gone through Sun A and a variation of Sun B. There's infinite ways to build on those postures, and we're progressively going to build more and more. Because a lot of us are working at a desk and we're a little tighter, maybe, than we typically are, we're going to hit hiccups. We're going to hit the hips and the shoulders to help bring everything down. So, I'm going to heel toe our feet apart, coming into that shoulder width distance. We're going into a yogic squat. So, if your heels have a penchant of lifting, you can grab that. You can roll up your mat. You can also use a towel and elevate your heels just like you would in lifters. We're going to come into that low yogic squat here. Not really need it, but that was for demo purposes. So in your yogic squat, don't completely deload and like kind of schlump. Squeeze the glutes, lift up out, keep the chest up and tall. In this position, hands can come to your heart. You can also bring fists together to push your knees out a little harder. And shift right and left here. I'm just shifting my weight back and forth over my ankles just to help open up my ankles a little bit. I like deep yogic squats. We're going to throw in that little bit of a twist. It's the wall twist we would do against the wall, clearly. My right hand is going to come down. My left arm is going to reach up. So I'm getting nice and long here. Sunday we may play with this pose, just kind of mess around a little bit because I think we need more playtime in our lives. On your inhale, we're going to untwist. Exhale, twist in that opposite direction. Your bum is going to come down to the ground. Legs are going to go out in front of you. Boom. From here, I do like to kind of paddle out my feet a little bit. Wiggle around. Feel your butt bone press down. This is the spot where your yoga strap can come in handy, or your towel can come in handy. We're going for a forward fold. So it's that big lift up through the chest. Exhale, fold forward. Hands coming down towards your ankles. They can rest on your shins. If you are curling in, trying to reach down, coming into this really like hyper arched position, try and stay as upright as possible. Grab that strap, lasso the soles of your feet, and use the strap to help pull yourself a little deeper. Yeah. Again, if you have super mobile hamstrings, I'm reaching for the Matterhorn right now. Bottom of the feet. Add a little bit of distance. Lean forward. Just a few more breaths here. Inhale. Come up. We're going to open up those shoulders a little bit by going for a reverse tabletop. So my hands are coming down behind my bum. Fingertips are pointing out, or they can point in towards your body here. Feet are going to slide in for a reverse tabletop. You're going to squeeze your glutes up, so you're squeezing your hips up as your head drops back. Should be getting a nice stretch in the shoulder area, and a little bit of strength in the quads and the butt, all that fun stuff. So squeeze, get big, let that head drop back. Lift through the hips, lift through the chest. Keep breathing here. I'm going to stay for another 2 more breaths. If you're done, you can be done. I'm going to come through, sitting on my bum. I'm going to bring my right leg across my body. We're going for a closed twist, meaning I'm keeping it close. My chest is twisting into my thigh here. You can scoop around, get nice and tall. Gaze can be directly in front, or you can start to look over your shoulder just to deepen the twist here. Think about driving that right hip down. You can hold onto your hands here, or that right hand can plant behind you as you look over your shoulder. On that inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, twisting a little deeper here. I prefer to twist this way. If you prefer to twist here, that's fine too. It's not exactly comfortable if you've got some chest in the way. This whole time, I'm still thinking about driving that hip bone down. That's going to help get a nice stretch in my outer hip area. We're going to untwist. We're going to open it up. So we're on that exhale, untwisting, getting tall again, and just opening up in that opposite direction. So my right hand is essentially on my ankle here, or I gently bring it to just below my knee. Lifting tall, twisting a little deeper. Nice. Shake both legs out. We're going to go for that left side where that left leg's going to come across your body. Lifting up nice and tall. We're scooping it around. Left hand's coming behind my body. Closing off that twist. If you have a tight low back, this might give you a nice little stretch in that low back. When you're ready, if you want to stay here a little longer, stay here a little longer. When you're ready, lift up, wiggle it out, twist in that opposite direction. All right. We are going to use a child's pose briefly. 2 different variations. We're going to start feet together, knees together, folding forward. Arms can reach in front of you, or they can come down by your sides, whatever's more comfortable. Forehead comes down towards the mat. Allow your breath to smooth out here. If you're like me and stubborn about turning on your air conditioning, you might be sweating a little more than you thought. So just use this as a time to kind of soothe your body. Walk your hands up. We're going to go for that nice little wide leg variation where your toes are together. Knees come out towards the edges of the mat. Hips are down on your heels. Hands walk forward here. If this is feeling good and you want to hang out in that position, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to encourage you to come to either laying on your back or into a comfortable seat, whatever's going to allow you to close your eyes and just give yourself a little bit of body scan. Me laying on my back right now is not a great idea because I don't think you'll be able to hear me at all. So I'm going to stay in a comfortable seat. So hands are on my thigh here. Allow your eyes to close. And as they're closing, maybe coming back to whatever intention you maybe started with at the beginning of class or the beginning of this video. And I'm going to fidget until I get myself comfortable. There we go. So when I'm referring to coming back to whatever intention you set, it may have changed, and that's fine. What I offered today was the ability to be patient with yourself, to treat yourself like you would a friend who might be dealing with something in your life, because we tend to be really harsh to ourselves. We tend to expect a higher level of perfection, or at least I and a lot of people I associate with have that habit. So by offering the gentleness and the grace that I would give my friends, my loved ones, the people in my life who I chose to make part of my family, there's a lot of you guys out there, I'm going to be more gentle with you than I tend to be with myself. And I'm trying to cultivate being gentle with myself as much as I'm with other people. On that note, most of y'all have heard me coach. I know I can also be a bit of a hard ass. I'm still a hard ass on myself too. As you're breathing, as you're giving yourself that nice big full inhale, feeling your chest and your belly rise, and as you exhale, feeling your shoulders relax, allow your jaw to relax. Think about unclenching your jaw, especially if you're a grinder at night. Think about smoothing out your forehead, allowing your eyes to be heavy, not furrowing your brow. Allow the tension to ease out of your neck, feeling supported by your bones, not tight from your muscles. Supported by the earth or what is around you. Feeling your hips relax and support you, your legs to support you. Feel everything melt, but at the same time, give you support. I am a big fan of sighing, so give yourself that nice big full inhale. On your exhale, side out. Give into the schlump a little bit. Allow yourself to kind of that relief, that tension ease out of the jaw, out of your neck, out of your shoulders, out of your hips. And when you're ready, give yourself a big full body stretch, whether you're laying down or sitting down. Just big reach up, getting tall, awakening your body. Maybe give yourself a few little wiggles. coming from one side to the other. And I want to thank you guys for letting me kind of help guide you through this practice and continue to build. If there are postures or a sequence that you're really interested in trying out, or you want help getting walked through, I will do my best to help accommodate. You can either comment or hit me up on Facebook. Just let me know. Okay? Have a nice day, guys. When it awkwardly comes super close, give you a smile. Have a good day.